Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our business gym class. This is our sixth session. It's been 6 months already, and this is our last session for this kind of series. So we are starting a new year, and we have a great plan for you for the upcoming year in terms of the cosmic new year that is coming ahead of us. Today we're going to do the last session for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it so far. That it's contributed a lot to all the way you look at business, to the way you've been able to bring your business to the next level. Today we're going to talk about team dynamics, and we know that when we look at life and we look at the dynamics that appears in our business area, what we see is that there are many things that are going on, and in order to make a business successful, there is a dynamic that happen between so many ingredients. If between me and my employees, if it's between me and my secretary, if it's between me and my clients, and the work environment that I'm involved with is actually the playing field where I can manifest success, or that could be short term, or success that's going to be long term. And it's all about the dynamics in that environment called work. So we know that what brings the success to a place is the people that works there, the way they behave, the way their consciousness is, the way they talks and actions, the way they communicate with one another. So in order for us to bring our business to the next level, we must understand that the dynamics need to go on a deeper level. We know that in most businesses, you come in, you click the clock, you enter in, there is no much or over too much communication that's happening in that workplace. It means that everyone is doing his job. Not necessarily everyone likes to do the job. And what seems on the surface when someone is working hard or investing in his workplace or seeing that he's a great communicator is not necessarily the truth when you look deeper and deeper to understand where the person is coming from. And you will see that there is someone that it seems that is investing over hours and is always there and is putting a lot of effort, but behind the scene is on Facebook, is actually dreaming about his dream vacation with his girlfriend that's going to come very soon. He's actually looking for another job in all the time that he's spending. So what we see on the surface and what we see, what you say, like on a physical reality, on the 1% reality, is not necessarily the consciousness from where that person is showing up. So in order for us to have like great team dynamics, we have to look at a few things that tells us about how dynamics really works. So of course there is communication, there is the listening parts, there is how much unity exists out there. There is the agenda of that employee. So if he's someone that is very, very well driven, he will be a person that will make everything in his power to derive to where he wants to see the business going. So if he's in a specific position, if it's a management position, if it's a project manager position, you will try to communicate everything towards this agenda. Or if agendas are coming out from a place of laziness, which I'm going to talk about very soon and share with you a few things about that too, to see how laziness affecting the team dynamics and how the communication that's coming out from comfort and I want to do less and to receive more is causing the team dynamics in the workplace to be completely unbalanced. We're going to understand a little bit more about listening, how it's important in the team dynamics and the communication, and understanding communication in general, because the whole idea of a business, the whole idea of dealing with things in life, it's all about how do I communicate myself with others. And some have the right intention, but they're lacking the skills of showing their intention in a language, in examples, in the way they approach people. And therefore, sometimes those people are misunderstood. So as a business manager, as a business owner, how can I identify those people and help to bring them up there? Because the more important thing is the consciousness. The more important thing is how much this person is looking to add to that company. So if the intention is right, but he's lacking the communication skill to compete with other very well trained salespeople, but all what they drive about is their ego. All what they drive about is with their agendas. All what they drive about is selfishness and viciousness sometimes, that they're willing to step on other people in order for them to climb that chain, that level of graduation to become a greater employee or whatever you. So how can I deal with that and how can I identify it? That's how it's important to understand the dynamics that happen within a business, within a workplace, within a factory, within even a small business. How it's important for me really to be capable to open myself to those communications that allow each and every person that is there not to do his job out of fear, more to do his job out of love. Okay? So, bottom line, how does the working together is allowing the business to grow towards a place where it's a constant growth, not like we raise a few peaks and then we got so much ego for it that we taking everything for granted and we feel that we don't need to push any longer. How we can take to that place that the business is well balanced. So when we talk about actual communication, okay, when we talk about actual communication, so what is usually we see in communication? We see an actions of a person and the way he work, the way he actually communicates the words that he has. Yeah. So you will see sometimes people which are seems to be great leaders, and seems to be that they are well driven, and seems that they are very energetic. And but deep inside, you will see that those people are not really acting the way the minds and the arts, they're not really following the arts and minds. And that eventually will cause a problem. So it means that there is a big show off of people that seems to be like they taking strong leadership, and they have the magnet to attract people behind them. But because of their intention, because their heart and mind is not in the right place, most likely that they won't be capable to elevate the people below them. And it could be seems that they're giving them energy. It could be seeming like those people feel energized and feel like there is a true purpose. But eventually they find themselves like running after Don Quixote treadmills that leads them eventually to a failure, which dismissing everything that they have. So the actions of and a word of a person are just a result of where the person is coming from. But it could be that those actions and words are in disguise. They were actually like an act. They're not coming from someone that really wants to add. It's coming from a person that really wants to take. And we know that the people in the world are divided really to two. There are some people that are here to construct, truly to construct, and there are some people that are looking just to destroy. What does it mean to destroy? Because the moment I'm looking to take energy from everything around me instead of giving energy, instead of making something alive, making something out of nothing, and it's not because I want it to my own ego, it's because I want to give everyone an opportunities to be co-creator, that will be much more powerful than someone that is looking to eliminate all the negative things that seems to be in his way. The people of distractions, and we see those kinds of leaders worldwide that try to eliminate everything that seems to be not right or seems to be negative. And their focus is really how to eliminate instead of how to understand that those things that are out there, maybe they're not perfect, but they're here and they have the chance really to grow them gradually, like an unripe fruit that is out there is no taste to it. And the moment I pick it up and I try to bite into it, of course it's going to be bitter. But if I continue to nurture it, eventually it will come to that place when the fruit is tasty, is fruitful, and is sweet and everything. So we need to determine if some of our actions and words are really following the heart and mind, or if our heart and mind is really in the right direction of becoming constructive versus deconstructive. It's so important because our tendency in life, and you will see like that the judgment, and it's so easy for us to identify. It's so easy for us to identify the very negative in every person, and when we identify that negativity and we judge it, and it could be that we are completely wrong, right, and we understand and we see according to action after action of a person that is really coming from a wrong place. But the biggest mistake that we think we already know, we already know why it's there, we already know what's happening, and therefore we're coming to conclusions. And because we are coming to conclusion in the workplace, we categorize the different people and we put them into chambers, and we're deciding this person is like that and this person is like that and this person is like that, and we're putting dividers and we're putting titles. And because of that, categorizing in Hebrew, coming from the word kitrug. Kitrug, it means that the moment I bring judgment toward the person. So the idea of putting every person in a box and giving him a title, and I know what it is, limiting completely the dynamics inside the work. And that's one of the biggest things that we should understand in a workplace, that it could be that I see something about a person, but this is only one side of him. And I can bring about the good side of a person. But if I focus just on his negative side, and I will categorize him, I'm creating those separation inside the business that will cause eventually to lack of communication. And that lack of communication eventually will not allow any of the people really to grow. So when we're coming to actual communication, the only way I can start going deeper to the art and mind of people and understand where they coming from, if they're really coming from the right place or coming from the wrong place, I first need to have the ability to look at myself and identify where I am not really following my work, where I am just lazy, where I am just driven by power, where I am just driven by ego. All of those ingredients, in order for me to really identify the art and mind of a person, I need first to exercise within me and see where I am coming from. And I am like trying to fool everyone around. Because when I understand that I'm doing exactly the same, I would be more forgiving and understanding that human beings are acting in such a way, and I might have a chance really to touch their heart, that they will be able to change and elevate. You understand? So in order for us to get into the complexity of team dynamics, but on a deeper level, not like every communication that we come to the workplace would be, yes, how are you? But I'm not really looking to hear the answer from that person. You know, I'm not really, I just want to say, yeah, okay, how are you? Thanks. See you later. Everything is well. But imagine yourself, like, you asking this person, how are you? And he's telling you, you know what, there is a few things we should talk about. I don't feel comfortable working with you in that way. And that's it right now. So, what's going on with that person? I just wanted to say, how are you? I just wanted to be nice. Why he needs to open those things up? But those kind of open the things up and communicating, instead of us going to talk and gossip about a situation that happened with another employee or a teamwork, and just keeping that between ourselves and just creating like a security shield where I feel comfortable to talk about that person with another person, but I would never confront him. Those kind of talks in the office and those kind of fights and those kind of politics kind of crawls, creating a place not to be so comfortable of, you know, fulfillment and growth. So the moment we are not feeling comfortable with someone and we are wanting to make it possible so we confront with them, we will see that if we do it from the right intention and really from what we call the art and mind, only good things will happen in that relationship. And if we open ourselves really, instead of going straight and talk business all the time with our employees or with our clients, and understanding that when I am wanting to reach the other person, there is some kind of a foreplay. And that foreplay, like happens sexually, you say, yeah? Like a foreplay is really to create some kind of a trust with that client, with that employee. And it's okay not to talk directly to the point of what I'm trying to market right now. If it's like one agenda, if it's one subject. But that allows me really to get to know the other person and to create some kind of a trust. And you know, the Persian people, for instance, you know, there are many of them like in the US, and they selling their carpets. And the moment you enter to the carpet store and you're coming to buy a carpet, you're interested to know the prices, they start asking you, how are you? Where you from? Can I serve you a cup of coffee? They take their time, like they have the whole time in the world, and they come and they known to be like the best business salespeople in the world. Why? Why they do that kind of thing? That they know that the best result can happen only when you get to know the person on a personal level. You see, so in order for me to have the right dynamics, it cannot be strictly business. And some of us, especially the people that are driven and efficient and lacking some of the patience because we are very motivated for success, those are the things that we are missing out. This personalization. But there are some great communicator out there that are capable to do it in a very, very beautiful way. And those are the people that we want to learn from. For instance, my teachers, the Rav and Karen Berg, people that used to meet thousands upon thousands of people that coming to them with different agendas, with different requests, with different issues, with different problems, some severe, some serious, some very selfish. But to each and every one of them, they are like fully there. Even if it's like going to be a 1 minute conversation or it's going to be hours of conversation. Depends on the relationship they have. So the idea is to be completely present and to be capable really to have empathy to the person. I want you to listen to Karen Berg now talking about communication and talking about having empathy.
The question is, what is the best format to develop communication amongst people? And to answer that question, we have to divide it. There's one format, like how do you speak to somebody if you want to develop a business contact with them? Where do you start? And in that format, I have to say that I found the best way to talk to people about business is not to talk to them about business, which means that you meet a person, let's say for the first time, and you're trying to sell them an idea that you want in your business. The first thing you should do is say, how are you? What's happening? How's your life been? In other words, to develop a communication, to develop a way that he opens himself, that there's an ability for him to talk to you, that you feel that there's a chemistry between you. The end result of that will be, oh, by the way, listen, I wanted to discuss this idea with you. I had an idea about a business arrangement, so what do you think about that? You can't go to a person and just, okay, let's go straight on, because if you do, you're making a wall there. That's one thing. The second thing I can think of is like I remember many times I've been introduced to somebody and I go, hi, how are you? And then what am I going to do next? I mean, I have nothing to say to this person. I don't know him from a bar of soap, right? So what do we do about that? Well, first of all, when you meet somebody for the first time, you can say, wow, like, how are you? And then you say to them something like, isn't it pleasant to be in this community with these people? Don't you find, where are you from? Are you originally from here? Something that can open up that door to be able to have some kind of a communication. But the most important part of all of this is the idea of empathy. To know where the other person needs to be spoken to. The Rav has always taught me that you never speak to somebody in a level in which they don't understand. And the only way we do that is that when you speak to somebody else, try to be that other person. Sometimes we have the problem that we want people to hear what we have to say. And that means that we're totally into ourselves. But the only way we can avoid that is that when we speak to somebody else, you think about how would they be able to receive what I'm saying better. And the best way to do that is if you touch them, that your words are what they want to hear and not what you want to say. It's very, very important. It's subtle and different, but if you think about it, and I'm sure it'll be explained more this evening, one of the keys of communication is not always thinking about what I have to say, but how will the person that I'm talking to receive it? Who's my audience? How do they respond and receive things? Where are they? Where are they in life? What are they attuned to? And when we have the part of us that says the other person has to respond, my response has to be not for me, but for them to have the response. But we'll hear more about that this evening. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so just to summarize what Kernberg says, that the ultimate communications, as the Kabbalists explained to us, there is a reason why we have one mouth and 2 ears, okay? And it says that we supposed to, in our communication, we supposed to talk 33% and listen 66%. That's really the percentage where communication need to be taking place. And when I am a great listener and I'm knowing where to put the right questions that leads to another question that leads to opening up that person and getting really to his art, but really caring for that person, I will see that eventually this person could be an amazing colleague and an amazing team dynamic for me. And as the Karen explains, that when we really feel empathy to a person, and I try to put myself instead of the other person, because it could be that I'm coming from a complete different reality. It could be that my strengths are not even close to his strength. And because of that, sometimes we get disconnected, because I said, if I can do it, how come the other person cannot do it? This is the reason when I feel empathy, I have to put myself instead of that other person. And I need to communicate exactly to the level he can understand. And great communicators can do that. And more than that, the leading questions that they will ask will be able to elevate that person to understand something new and to realize maybe where he can change, maybe that he should do something different this time. And that's how you can grow truly the dynamics in the workplace, in the business. That people, everyone feel comfortable. They don't feel attacked by one another. They don't feel like people are judging them constantly. You understand? So this is one of the key points, like listening and empathy. So there are four things that we receive from ultimate communication. In order for us to create like the ultimate communication, we first have to focus on the right path. We have to focus. It means that we need to understand that the communication is something that is essential. And if we're lacking it, and there is a lot of miscommunication, and everyone wants just to say in a meeting whatever he has on his mind, and he's looking just to receive the gratification, he's looking to be known and to be accepted, to be recognized, because he said the last word or he brought about the most amazing idea. So the focus is, as we said, is the ability to be great listening. It's the ability to allow the win-win in that place, to allow other player to move on, to trust that when I help someone else, I'm going to be rewarded. I'm going to be recognized in the right place, in the right time. The actual communication is the example we gave before. It's words and actions versus mind and heart. That's the actual communication that happens. And the third thing is the cohesion. Cohesion is how much am I forcing myself towards others? How much am I forcing? There is no cohesion in spirituality. It means that if someone is not really ready to hear something, can I really try to communicate that to a person? Can I communicate a message to a person that right now is focusing and he actually thinks he knows and he's not really open? It means that before I'm forcing any idea on a person, I need somehow to reach out to him. I need him to understand that maybe it doesn't necessarily know the answer. You know, sometimes we're living with a person, we think that we know that person, and suddenly we discover there's a surprise. Someone that we got married that is completely different. Why? because we're living in a fantasy reality when we thought our mate is someone like that, and we put in this kind of facade, this kind of a custom, and we lived by that because it was comfortable for us, because that's what we wanted. But suddenly we discovered something completely different. So in order for us to be an amazing team communicator, we must understand that we don't see the big picture. We don't see everything. And the last thing is really the effort. This getting out of the constant comfort. This week is related to the energy of getting out of the comfort. This week is the time, energetically, in the cosmos, that comfort want to attack us from every given place. So the effort that we're making in order to be a team player, in order for us to, even though we think we know what is right, to let go, to let other people be in charge on different things, to make the effort to stay in that team, to see it as an essential thing for success. Because when everyone is like pushing towards either direction, there is no unity. It's like I'm a loner. It could be that I work very well alone because I'm very talented in what I do. But it's much stronger, as we know, when there is only one straw, or like tens of straws that you tie together in unity, cannot be break by anything. So I want you to ask yourself, am I adding to the team, or am I just focusing on my agenda? That will determine the long-term success or short-term success for the business. So I want you to invest in order to become a greater communicator, a greater team worker. First, invest into look inside. Second, avoid jealousy and judgment. That creating, categorizing everything, bringing judgments towards other people, causing them to have fear, lack of trust, separation. The third thing is to be capable to forgive the people that hurt you. You don't know how an amazing tool it is, especially those people that sabotage your plan, those people that went against you. They came for a specific reason. It was allowed by the cosmos, so you be capable really to experience some kind of pain by them, but not because of them, and then be capable to forgive them no matter what they did to you. It's a process that helps us to cleanse an enormous amount of negativity that we brought to this world. Those people are the vehicle that when they pushing us and then when they causing us pain, and even though we forgive them, we actually allowing ourselves to be forgiven for all our other mistakes that we've been doing. So it's an amazing tool to practice, especially with your competition at work, with the people that step on you, and just move on and let it go. So I want you to see another video by Karen Berg about laziness, and we'll see later on how we can go deeper about it.
Laziness is a symptom, really. It means that life has lost some luster, number one, or I'm just going to sit right here because everything seems to be going on just great and I don't have to bother with anything. And somebody like myself who is a Libra might suffer from that more than others. Libras have been known to sort of like to lay back and watch the world go by. But sometimes laziness is a symptom of melancholy. Melancholy is sort of like a depression that says, there's nothing really important for me to do. I have no motivation. I don't feel that what I do can impress anybody. I don't see the world becoming better because of me. So I'm just going to sit here and read a book, or I'm just going to watch my television show, or I'm going to sort of not go out into the world and be what I can be. And of course that affects us spiritually, because remember, we are a vision, a mirror of the world that's on top. So there's a Karen here, and there's a Karen here. And if Karen here says to herself, heck, I don't care, I'm just going to put my feet up on the chair, and yeah, I see that things are bad around me, but there's not much I can do to affect it. I don't think that I add anything, so I'm just going to let things pass. So the Karen here, who's connected to the upper world, when Karen downstairs says, hey, wait a second, I don't feel good, or I really need to get a better job, or I really need your help because somebody I know is seriously ill, Karen upstairs says, well, I don't know, maybe it's not time for me to help. I don't think I can affect it. And they say, well. And I start saying, well, why isn't things working? Well, because I've got my feet up. That's the point that we don't get. When we do an action down here, it creates an action on another level. So that when the time comes that this person down here needs the immediate assistance, this person up here says, you know what, I don't think so. I'm not ready yet. I take it just in my bathtub. I don't want to run out right now. Or I'm just in the middle of the book. I want to finish it. What happens is we delay the reaction of the upper world by what we do on the lower world. If we understand that, and if the person that suffers from this laziness is not in a situation of maybe it's just a layback person, or is it a condition? And is this laziness a symptom of melancholy, of depression, of whatever it is? If that's the situation, there are many homeopathy, natural medicine, herbal medicine, etc. There are many things that one can do to check and to create themselves a space that maybe that might change. But if that's not the situation, if your personality is just let tomorrow happen, just remember that tomorrow happens also for you. Because there is always a time in life that one needs to call on the powers to be, to defend them, to be with them, to protect them, to give them energy, to give them light, to give them health. At that time, when we think today, we have to remember that there will come a time when we're going to call on the upper level to say, okay, I'm here. I'm going to give back what you gave. In that relationship is where you must be in the time when someone says, can you do something? And you have to say, well, I can sit here and read my book, or I can simply go over there and help them. It's your choice.
So, as we see from Karen Berg, amazing words, is the understanding of laziness is very deep, and unfortunately, It's happening in most workplace. It's happening in most team dynamics, and it's causing the dynamic to be sluggard a bit. You know why? It's because the person which is lazy is a person that first need to stop himself from doing something that is negative. And second, you need to turn into a place when you do some good things, like more positive things. So it's built up from those two. And I want to read you from a very ancient book that was written hundreds of years ago that explain a little bit about laziness and how the interaction take place. And look what he says. His name is the Ramchal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto. The lazy man will doubtless come back with many quotations culled from the sages and from scripture, and with intellectual argument of supporting actions is misguided mind, is latency with himself, and allow him to remain in the response of his laziness. So it means that a lazy person, because he's constantly motivated to excuse himself and giving the right ideas, and he will find the right discipline, and he will always to try to defend himself why he acted in one way or another, and bring even things from scriptures or things that seems to be holy or even intellectual. He fails to see that those argument and explanation stem not from rational evolution but from laziness. This means that the lazy person will do everything in his power really to excuse why he been doing less and less and less. And what Karen Bergs explained to us, that the moment I dismiss an opportunity of doing something which is out of my comfort, that seems to be that I'm right now busy doing something important, or I decided that this is my time off, and I receive an opportunity. I am the one to decide what I should do with that. And the moment I'm reaching out and deciding yes to do it and doing the uncomfortable, I'm actually allowing an energy force that will help me and will able to charge me in those times that when I don't have any kind of power, when I am in need. But the moment I give power to my laziness and I find the right excuses why I shouldn't do, it's actually gradually will eliminate all the opportunity for me to receive energy. And as Karen Berg explained, it's usually come because of melancholy and because of depression and because someone doesn't feel that he can add to a place. But what got it is all those small times when he had opportunity to do something and he didn't do. And he actually dismissed. So gradually become more lazy and more lazy and more accusing till the place it become very, very passive. So, but from his laziness, which is grows strong within him, inclines his reason and intelligence to them, so that he does not pay heed to what is said by the wise and by those who possess sound of judgment. And that's the time that a person is not really in a place of listening. He cannot really listen because he's focusing on excusing himself and knowing that he is right for his making. It is in this connection that Solomon cried, "A lazy man is wiser in his own eyes than the 7 sages." Laziness does not even permit one to attend the words of those who reprove him. He puts them all down by blunders and fools, reckoning only himself wise. Let's read another segment, which was very interesting. We see with our own eyes how often a person neglects his duty in spite of his awareness of it, and in spite of his having to recognize as truth he required for the salvation of his soul and what incumbs upon him in respect of his Creator. So the moment a person neglects his duty, in spite of his awareness of it, and in spite of having come to recognize as it's true, he's actually disconnecting himself from the energy of the cosmos. And when we choose to do it again and again and again, that's how we disconnect ourselves from energy, as said by the Ramchal in the book The Way of the Just. So what we've learned today is that in order for us to have the ultimate team dynamics, we know that it's all about communication. And communication is not really having that great ability to convince people or to manipulate people or to sell people. It's not about that. It's more about the listening part and seeing where people's minds are, where people's hearts are. And the most important, understanding that only when I know myself and I know my mind and I know my heart, that's how I can know other people. So I will know how to communicate with them. As Karen Berg, having the empathy, feeling where the pain of the other person is, will enable me really probably to ask the right question. When I listen to him, when I create some kind of a trust in that workplace, and I allow the person to be comfortable, instead of focusing on the agenda that the work wouldn't be getting done because this person is too slow, I'm giving that person a chance. I'm helping this person to grow by asking the right question, by creating a trust, a place that everyone feels comfortable. And understanding that one of the reasons why team dynamics is getting damaged is only because we are motivated by our laziness, and then we're willing really to excuse it with the best excuses, even taken from the scriptures and even taken from the sages. As long as we are not going through that uncomfortable and staying in this place where I've been left alone, the Kabbalists explain to us that first the cosmos will send you a sign to tell you that you are not in the right place. Then the creator, the cosmos, will send you someone to maybe share with you a word that telling you that you're not in the right place if you didn't get it so far. Then You might interact by some kind of chaos. It means some kind of something that went wrong in your life to show you that you're not going in the right direction. And if you don't get that, then you're probably going to be left alone. We all want to be left alone, but to understand what does it mean to be left alone, it means that I don't have anyone to really to push me to change. And this is the worst thing ever. So the moment the cosmos is giving out on us and we can just do whatever we want, it's not a good sign. But as long as we have those good people to help us, to push us, to say some words to us, to judge us in a way, but we take it in a good criticism, a building criticism, that's something that can help us to build ourselves. But if we are within our laziness trying to excuse it, to excuse why we did something, we are not really allowing the gradual growth that's supposed to come to our life. So this is the lesson for today. I want us to continue the sessions, and we will notify you guys how we're going to do it. And please send us an email to david.zakin@kabbalah.com and share with us your experience from the business gym that we experienced so far. Send us some suggestions on what would you like to deal with more in your businesses. What are the different difficulties, so we can prepare for you more subjects for the next classes. So all the best to you. I wish you a very, very nice evening. Take care.